I'm no PewDiePie or Mr. Beast. The best I've gotten so far is 360,000 subscribers, which is obviously pretty good, but it's no 100 million like Mr. Beast. However, I've gathered a bunch of knowledge about YouTube over the years, and especially over the last year. So we're just gonna do a little TED Talk on how you can grow a YouTube channel, because there's a few different ways. Some are more consistent than others, but let's get into it. First of all is you need an idea. You need something that you can do at least semi-consistently or annually or whatever. You need something that you can post about as frequently as possible without it becoming too much. And you can kind of work on that, like posting, I don't know, once a day, once a week, once a month, depending on how high quality the videos are. But all in all, you need that initial niche for your channel. If you do one video about a movie, and then one video about a video game, and then one video about politics or something, that's almost never gonna work. That is such a rare chance to work that I don't even know if it's possible to make it work. That is one instance where the algorithm actually messes up, and I've had experience with that. And mixing genres on your channel when you're not already huge is actually almost impossible, I think. So you really got to think about it. Do you want to make videos about gaming? Do you want to make videos about one specific game? That could get you a lot more progress. Even when it comes to gaming or something, if you focus on one game and one gaming community, like Overwatch or Minecraft or something, and you just focus on that one, you're gonna have a lot of a higher chance to actually get somewhere, whether it's an algorithm thing or a returning viewer thing. Whatever it is, it seems like sticking to one specific thing on your channel is actually what helps it a lot. So I would recommend find that one thing and stick with it for a while. Find out if you enjoy doing it, because something else that a lot of people know is if you don't enjoy doing YouTube, it's probably going to reflect in your videos, and people aren't going to enjoy the videos because it doesn't seem like you're having a good time doing it, and therefore it's not going to work. Another thing you got to do is either get an editor, which is expensive, or get a free editing program at the very least, so then you can start learning how to edit, because doing videos without editing and expecting to get anywhere with it is tough. That's the only word I can think of. It's tough. You're not going to get very far unless you're extremely lucky or your personality is actually top 5 in the world. There's only a couple examples I can even think of when it comes to just raw footage and no editing, and people who actually manage to get somewhere with it, Some Ordinary Gamers, Moist Critical, and a couple other people. It's not much. Having some sort of editing to keep your viewers engaged with the cuts, the music, not having any downtime in the video, keeping it fast paced, so then there's not a pause where nothing's even happening, because people have really low attention spans. I think the average attention span when it comes to clicking off of something is 8 seconds. So people will either skip past it and that'll lower your watch time, or they'll just leave the video, which obviously is even worse. You need to research YouTube videos, watch YouTube videos, find somebody to replicate, and you could say that that's copying, but trust me, a lot of people do it in YouTube, in art, in media, literally everything. Somebody takes inspiration from something else and then they use it for themselves. But the important thing is you need to take that inspiration from somebody that you enjoy watching, somebody that you want to replicate, and you need to make it your own. You could start with being pretty similar to them, but you need to eventually branch out and find your own thing as you get experience with doing that. That could be with editing styles, with how you talk in your videos, with the thumbnail, really anything. You need to have some sort of starting ground, so then your videos don't look like you just started making them, even though you did just start making them. Everybody's gonna have their first few bad videos, but you got to make sure that every time you make a video you learn something new. Otherwise you'll just be repeating the same bad thing over and over again. And one important thing is you need to make a video that you would watch. Would you watch your own video all the way through? Are there any points in your video where you're oh wow, this part's boring, gotta cut it out? You gotta find some way to make it so then you would watch your own video, because at least if you would, then maybe some other people would. And that doesn't mean a ton, because not everybody would, but like I was saying, you just need to keep fixing these little potholes, these little mistakes with each upload you make, and watch tutorials, figure things out. If you don't understand something, look it up. There's probably a tutorial somewhere out there. Look up what programs are good for making thumbnails, especially if you want a free one. Just look it up. There's probably some free ones out there, and once you find the program you might want to use, look up tutorials. YouTube isn't really a thing that you can actually do without much research and much action. You have to actually work on it. That's the thing that some people don't really realize, is you actually have to put hours into it if you want to even expect anything. Again, there's a big luck factor. I think it's half and half luck and work, but the less work you put in, the less chances of that luck you're gonna have. if that makes sense. Because let's say you put a ton of effort into a video and it doesn't do good. Eventually, it could just randomly do good. That's happened to me before, and that's happened to other people too, where your video starts out terrible, and then eventually some people find it, they watch it all the way through. That makes the watch time better. They interact with it, they share it, and then boom, all of a sudden, there's a bunch of good watch time and stuff, and then the video just pops off. Like, I'm not saying you should put your everything into just one video, unless that's the type of content you want to make, but don't put no effort into it. That's something that I suffered with. That's something that I struggled with on my Corals channel, where I would put out these like mediocre videos, and then I would expect like, oh my god, it's gonna be so cool, it's gonna get so many views, and then it doesn't, and I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't really realize how mediocre they were until more recently, because another thing that really matters, especially with gameplay videos, is the quality of the footage. It needs to be like high quality, it needs to be good frame rate, because I don't know about you, but anytime I click on a video that's about gaming and it's like 10 FPS and it's a bad microphone or a really bad camera, I just click off unless I already know the person. You gotta be presentable, basically. Like that's basically how it is. You need to be presentable in some way, whether it's your personality or your equipment, or a combination is even better, or the idea of your video. Like in Dream's case, he had a really bad microphone, but he had this really cool manhunt idea. Turned out being really good because the idea was great. You need something. You need one of these things, but combining them is even better. And I don't want to make this too long. I could talk about this for hours, but my final tip of advice right now is just start doing it. Don't put it off for too long, because the longer you put it off, the longer you say, I don't want to do this right now, the less experience you're even going to have. So if you just do it and don't expect anything out of it, then you'll get experience, you'll get better, as you would with anything else in the world. And as long as you're trying to learn and you're absorbing information, you're looking things up, you're taking references, you're borrowing ideas, whatever it is, whatever you're trying to replicate, whatever you're trying to do, as long as you actually do it and you try to learn from it and you just are consistent with it, then you're going to learn just like you would learn anything else, and you're going to get better at it over time. It took me like 5 years to actually figure out how to make like a quality video with a face cam, because my old face cam videos were awful. I didn't do face cam for years, and eventually I was like, okay, I'm just going to try it. And then I did my best to figure it out, and eventually I did. Obviously, eventually I'm going to do like different things as well. Like, you also need to learn to adapt. Like, once you're so far into it, you need to change it up a little bit, otherwise things will get stale. I still feel like some of my Nubs3 videos are pretty stale, and that's why I'm trying different channels, I'm trying different projects, because I want variety. I don't want to do the same game and similar topics in the same game over and over again, because it will get bland eventually. So you need to change something up eventually, which is why I started doing face cam. It's a good change of pace. All right, I gotta end this video here. If you guys want a part 2, then let me know. I doubt this video will get that much watch time at all, because there's like no gameplay, but yeah, goodbye.